Yo, I'm Bob. Totally blind since birth into Power Rangers. Got the Shout Factory box set in my hands. Talking about Season 2, Episode 23 of Mighty Morphin. This one's the Ninja Encounter Part 2. It premiered on November 3rd in 1994. I don't know if it was a cold November day as the episode premiered, but this episode had quite an icy theme. So you've got Rocky, Adam, and Aisha, along with their teacher, Mr. Anderson, they're still in Lord Zed's dimension of despair. Goldar's trying to convert them, doing his best to convert them to the forces of evil, but they're just not buying into what he's selling. So Lord Zed is going to buy Goldar some time by creating the Terror Blossom monster to distract the Rangers. He's doing his old divide and conquer stick yet again. So, this Terror Blossom monster, when he first came onto the scene, I will say he didn't inspire too much terror in me, well, until he laughed. I was reminded of a purple dinosaur from the 90s. My little sister used to love watching Barney 24/7, and when Terror Blossom first comes onto the scene, he's like, "Be on the watch, Power Rangers! I'm about to give new meaning to the old saying, stop and smell the roses!" Yeah, 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 yeah. I mean, it's the goofiest laugh I've ever heard coming out of any monster ever. Um, he's an interesting monster though. At least until he laughs. Then I can't take him seriously. He does chill the very marrow of my bones because he makes me think of everyone's least favorite purple dinosaur from the 90s. If any of you 90s kids had younger sisters who watched this show 24/7, you'll remember that laugh. It's like Lord Zed decided to inject the essence of Barney into this monster. I guess in some way he was kind of terrifying. Anyway, I wish Hasbro would make that. He'd make a pretty cool monster to add to the Lightning collection, especially if he had some batteries in him and you'd get the little laugh clip installed into the action figure. So Terror Blossom can freeze anything he touches with his poison petals, according to Lord Zed. So I mean, he could come with some effect pieces in terms of petals and just a really interesting monster. I think he's got one eye. I don't know what it is with Lord Zed creating quite a few monsters with only one eye, but I mean, if it works for you, buddy. So you've got six Rangers, and they're having to split into two teams. You got Billy, Kimberly, and Tommy. They've got to go do their best to rescue the teens and Mr. Anderson from the dimension of despair. Then you got Jason, Trini, and Zach, and they've got to go take out the Terror Blossom. But Lord Zed, he's jammed the command center's scanners, so they're going to have to utilize a new method of teleportation called jetting so they can see where they're going, since their scanners are pretty much blindsided. So yeah, just before Billy, Kimberly, and Tommy can free Rocky, Aisha, Adam, and Mr. Anderson, they got to go help their buds because Terror Blossom is going to try to reproduce himself. And that's just going to be more trouble, more poison petals to have to deal with. So Terror Blossom, he can actually resurrect monsters himself. So he conjures up the Hatchosaurus. So you've got Billy, Kimberly, and Tommy having to break off their rescue. They have to battle some putties. Tommy kicks Hatchosaurus in the gut before he grows. Ouch. And then you know how it goes. Lord Zed makes the monster grow. I like that Hatchosaurus can actually speak in this episode. Of course, it's probably the Cardiatron computer speaking through the monster, but I like that he actually has a voice this time around. And I think he's voiced by Steve Kramer too. I'm not sure, but it sounds like Steve Kramer. So you've got a really cool Zord battle with the Thunder Megazord, and the White Tiger Zord comes in, converts to warrior mode. It's one of my favorite Zord battles because this monster will not go down. They use some sort of mist attack, I think. Somebody said at one point it looked like a kind of mist firing out of, was it Thunder Megazord's chest? If it is that attack, it sounds similar to something that he utilized in the Fighting Edition Super Nintendo game that I had when I was a kid. Or maybe he fired some lasers out of the jewel on his helmet. But yeah, Cardiatron reassembles the monster. You've got Rocky, Aisha, and Adam in the meantime. They freed themselves and they're having to fight putties. But Goldar, he's not having any of that. I like how he shows back up and he's like, come on, chain them back up. What are they doing free? He just puts the kibosh on that real quick. And they're back in Zed's clutches yet again. And I love how Goldar calls forth this serpent of darkness or some sort of evil serpent. I think it's called the Serpent of Darkness. And we never got this in toy form back in the 90s. But I always wish we'd gotten something like that. So they did come out with a monster called Pythor in the old Evil Space Aliens line. And this monster was clearly meant to be one of Lord Zed's because he had this bladed weapon that had a Z on the front of it. It would spin around. You could place it on one of the Pythor's claws. And I don't know if this thing looked anything like what others would imagine Pythor to look like, or the serpent here in this episode, the Serpent of Darkness, if he were turned into a monster. But I always used Pythor in the old toy line as basically this serpent here in this episode transformed into a monster. He could dart his tongue back and forth. It was just a really cool looking monster. You can look him up online sometime. There are probably quite a few pictures of this monster floating around. One of my favorites. Had a tail and he actually walked on two legs. Really cool snake monster. I'd say almost as cool as Snizzard, if not, a tie with Snizzard in terms of how cool he looked, according to me anyway. So, yeah, Hatchosaurus is ultimately brought down by the White Tiger Thunderbolt. He's first slashed with a Thunder Saber, and then Tommy finishes him off with a Thunderbolt. You've got the Terror Blossom. He freezes Jason, Trini, and Zach. Just when Kimberly, Billy, and Tommy are about to go into the Dimension of Despair, they are called away because their buddies are frozen. They got to get them back to the command center. And the episode ends with the Serpent of Darkness completing its transformation from wooden serpent to living, slithering creature, according to Goldar. And if he bites them, they'll immediately be turned into hideous, evil drones, I guess. So they'll become hideous. Not that we saw that in this episode, but yeah, I wonder what those creatures would have looked like. So, yeah, this one was one of my favorite episodes because we got to see two monsters in one episode. We got some putty action. We got quite a lengthy Zord battle. We got to see Rocky, Adam, and Aisha. No powers yet, but they can still hold their own against putty patrollers in the Dimension of Despair. Just a really cool episode. Lord Zed's doing everything he can to keep the Rangers from entering his dimension. He is not playing around. Well, Terror Blossom, I mean, he's kind of goofy, but I love that laugh. I mean, he's not that terrifying, but I still like him, even though Zed injected the essence of Barney into him. Anywho, I'll hear you guys in part 3. In the meantime, watch out for Terror Blossoms that laugh like Barney, and may the power protect you.